Mr. Bertram, would you call roll, please?
Certainly will. Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mrs. Schreiber?
Here.
Ms. Novak?
Here.
Mrs. Mulligan?
Here.
Dr. Urso?
I'm here. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, concerns? If there are none, then Mr. Bertram.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mrs. Schreiber?
Yes.
Ms. Novak?
Yes.
Mrs. Mulligan?
Yes.
Dr. Urso?
Yes. No public participation, it appears, so that brings us to two fun presentations. The first being regarding holiday hoopla, Passport to Tomorrow. I'd like to invite, Mr. Stiles, you want to take
Sure,
over?
I wanna,
and give a little
just-
preamble.
So we've got it coming up on the screen. Just want to start with an introduction to all things Passport to Tomorrow off the heels of our first personalized learning day. We have two presentations tonight, but they absolutely connect with our Passport to Tomorrow vision as a district. So I want to make sure we take a moment to kind of level set just a few things from our personalized learning day just last week. I'm not sure what button to press.
Right.
So I want to share just a few things from our students that were submitted as artifacts from the personalized learning day just last week. And I remember the core of our vision as a district is we want students to be able to see themselves in success, see themselves in their career passions as they discover them. No matter if they're, Mr. Moore, if they're big middies or little bitty, itty bitty middies. We want them to see themselves, right? So these are just a few photos, just to be relatively quick, around what students are passionate about, right? This is not about slope-intercept form. It's not about algebraic thinking. It's about the students and their passions of what they want to be when they grow up and seeing themselves being successful. So here's a picture of a young lady here in Middletown City School District. If you notice on her laptop, you can see what she's interested in. She has a passion for being an artist. So she is working through a couple different things that she's doing. You can see it in the drawing. No, you're good right there. If you go back just one slide. You can see she's interested in all things fine arts. This young man here, you could tell he's an older student. You can see that he's not just necessarily about painting, but you can see his craft, his handymanship, craftsmanship. There's another picture that he submitted that extends that current laser cutted piece of iron that you see in that picture there. If you go back one slide. It's a longer picture, and it's actually spelling out something. You can tell he's building something. But you can tell his experience when it comes to all things ironwork, laser cutting, manufacturing type skills. Definitely he possesses those. Next picture you'll see just what our students were interested in. We're talking with some of our guests who are here tonight about what's on the minds of our students. Not just a career, but a specific career. You can see this student here, they were searching and studying on their personalized learning day, a day in the life of a respiratory therapist. Not just a therapist, not just a SWAT officer, right, but a specific career that they are interested in is on their mind. Again, not attached to algebraic thinking, but skill sets that would be needed to become a respiratory therapist. If you take a look at this picture here, it's very unique, and I picked these two specifically for you, Ms. Novak. Our children were engaged in a lot of cooking activities, a lot of culinary experiences. Now, there's a picture on the screen that is one for me, and there's one for you, Ms. Novak. But you can tell that our kids were highly involved. We spoke with a few parents and looked at some of the sheets that were submitted as far as their reflections. The students were going to the grocery store doing the shopping for the recipe. They were cooking all the individual components that you see up there. Some very, very healthy on the left, some were healthy on the right. But you can tell that they were putting skills. They were putting skill sets
Your right
together.
and left are mixed up.
So for our audience, on the left is a chicken tender that is wrapped in bacon with brown sugar on it.
It's looking good.
It's the picture I associate with. On the right, it looks like toast, a very delicious omelet, probably with some green stuff in it. And then there's, I don't even know what that is on the left. This is green.
Kiwi.
Is it kiwi?
It's kiwi.
Yeah.
I was going to say it was an avocado.
Yeah.
But the experience, right, is what's important, to develop some skill sets they can leverage as they advance their life. And then the last here is just a fun piece, right? I think we got another one after this. But you can see down at Barnett Stadium, there are about 20 students down there with Officer Deaton and Officer Kirby. Look at the young lady's face. It's pretty fun experience to see it live in person, but the photo absolutely captures it. There was one big meaty that was in attendance down at Barnett Stadium. All of the students were elementary students, but the one big meaty, when we asked him why was he here at Barnett's, he goes, because I want to be a highway state patrolman. So he was spending his day with our officers down at Barnett's, and after the fact, gaining some experience and some knowledge base. We even had a conversation with him about, what does 30 days from now look like for you as we approach our second personalized learning day? What can we do to help you get connected to some opportunities to learn more and experience more? On the left-hand side, we had several parents. They scheduled the day for their children. You can see this is the day in the life of one of our students on Personalized Learning Day as he ventured all across the community and engaged in a variety of opportunities. Last picture we have up here, I just want to highlight again, we celebrate 31 endorsements to our Passport to Tomorrow. We'll talk about some of the opportunities coming up here in a presentation. But this is a Midpoint Library, one of our endorsing agents for our Ready Now campaign. They had a series of events scheduled throughout the day. They had a total of 43 students that came throughout the day in different group settings. But the experience they had wasn't just one quick read aloud. There were a variety of activities that students and families could enjoy as they were on the campus. So a very successful first personalized learning day. We've got over 1,700 submissions from some of our secondary students. We're hard collecting some of those documents from our younger students, so we'll have some more information for the board and our community coming here soon. But I wanted to center us around all things Passport to Tomorrow before we invited our first guest to come up to the microphone, because we're really focusing on partnerships and experiences for our children that really amplify the badges and the skill sets inside the Passport to Tomorrow. So as we bring our guest up from Holiday Hoopla to come up to the podium and the microphone, I want to celebrate not just the partnership we have with Avon Kaiser, but I want to celebrate some ideas, and she'll kind of cover those here in just a few moments, about how the partnership with Holiday Hoopla is really starting to formulate to not only celebrate and incentivize some things with our students, but to also give them some Passport to Tomorrow opportunities to really develop some of those skill sets that they'll be able to leverage in all things K-12 Passport to Tomorrow. So I introduce someone who kept pinging me over the summer nonstop until I answered back. We spent time for a couple months just having some dialogue. But I want to invite Ms. Kaiser to just share a few words about the Middletown Holiday Hoopla, some things that she and her organization have planned, but then also some exciting things we've got planned for our students. So appreciate you being here tonight.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for listening to all my pings. This is so exciting from just the introduction that Mr. Stiles gave. That building connection is what the Hoopla is all about. Last year was our first year, and it was really about, can we do it, can we get it done, can we bring an ice rink and an interactive light experience to town. One of our goals was building community pride in that. We didn't really get to delve into that too much because it was a quick turnaround in less than 8 months to get it going. But this year, that's our main focus, is really community pride, bringing the kids in, making sure they feel that they're a part of this. Because when you make connections, like Mr. Stiles says, they feel vested in their community. They feel vested in their town and in the businesses here and in just being involved, and their families feel welcome. So what we wanted to do this year is put some initiatives forth with the school district to see how can we get kids involved, how can they feel a part of this. So one of the initiatives is an academic initiative where we're trying to reward students with free ice skating tickets for academic achievement or attendance or whatever the teacher thinks. I know they have special treasure chests where you could get tickets and then redeem them for a pencil or book, but you can redeem them for a skating ticket. We're also, last week was a short week of 4 days. I had 5 meetings with different teachers in the Middletown School District and different principals from the high school to the middle school to grade schools. And I have to tell you, I get excited about the Hoopla, but I get even more excited when I see the energy and excitement that we can really make this a community event. And there we're going to have special days in December where it's going to be like an Amanda School Day, a Middletown High School Day, the middle school day, so each day will have a specific targeted school, so they can build community. Again, looking for community and time to be together and not just in the classroom. So the Hooplas, we have big dreams, and this year we're bringing a lot of new adventures to the Hoopla. Last year was mainly the lights and the ice rink, and if you kind of scroll down a little bit, you can see some pictures of how it looked last year. We have huge, massive interactive lights, and it kind of scrolls if you put the arrow to the right or left, either way, on that top picture. You can walk through the giant interactive light displays. So one of the teachers, we were thinking about, there's a time period before the kids are off school where the ice rink isn't really open until 4. Wouldn't that be a great time to have some field trips where we partner with the library, because we're going to have a story walk now with the Hoopla this year, and some of the windows from the buildings that might be vacant are going to become storyboards for either The Grinch That Stole Christmas or Night Before Christmas. So we'll bring the kids down, they'll get to ice skate, we'll break them into groups. Some will go to the library and have like a little story time and a craft with hot chocolate, and others will go, we're hoping to partner with the YMCA, have a little activity, maybe a snowball fight, instead of dodgeball, we'll call it snowball fight, and then they'll skate. So having a real day, and I thought, how fun would it be if we got to take them to the Sorg, and they got to see the Sorg, and we practice singing a Christmas carol, and they all get to go on stage, and we video them singing a Christmas carol on stage, because how many times does a kid really get to have that experience being on a theater stage? So little things we're thinking about of building connections with the places in your town that you might not have gotten to visit in your time here. So these are just some great pictures of last year. The Grinch was there. I think the Grinch is going to make some stops at a couple of the schools to get them all excited about things. The ice rink comes November the 14th, and it's here until, the Tuesday after Martin Luther King weekend. So we get it 64 days this year. We only had it for 32 last year. So I'm pretty excited about that. Some other opportunities the kids will have on the weekends will be to have cookie decorating with Mrs. Claus, pictures with Santa, pictures with the Grinch. And this year, if you go up to the top, you can see it'll say events. And then if you scroll down, other things we can do, keep going all the way. We'll have a calendar of events that they can see. But you can rent igloos. Some of the teachers last year rented the igloos and had a great little staff day together. That was a fun time. But we're bringing a new train to town. So in order to help the businesses, one of the major goals of the Hoopla is to promote revitalization of downtown. And we're trying to pool the activity and the people up central. And so that's what we're going to do, is have a train up there. And also the Carol Off. So this is another way we want to get students involved. So all of our groups that are choirs or show choirs or church choirs, we want them to sign up for this choir off. This is on December 21st, and the winner gets $1,000, second place gets $500, and third gets $250. And that's going to be at the Sorg. Another way students can get involved and participate is through, I was talking with Mrs. Cotter about partnering with the National Honor Society students as well as the Career Center, and trying to get a couple students from each to partner with a business. And then they have this business connection. They're going to be my advocate. They're going to be the in-between between the Hoopla and the school to get them to buy in, to participate in the Hoopla. Because sometimes me coming around saying, hey, would you stay open a little longer, doesn't really work. But I think if a high school student say, hey, will you be a part of this community and be a part of this and stay open a little longer? And that way they're learning how to interview, ask questions, be a part of the community. And also maybe that might lead to a job in the summertime, or you go into Brent's Buds and now you know Brent from Brent Smoker Buds because you worked with them, and you can bring your friends over. So it's just, again, building those connections in the community that make you feel valued and connected. Other ways that they can volunteer would be as characters at our Santa parade, so they can dress up. We would love to get marching bands. I know our marching band, it's a hard weekend. It's that weekend right after Thanksgiving, so that tends to be tough. But we're trying to pay marching bands to be in things to support them in their activities, as well as I was talking with Mr. Lyston about getting the jazz band to play in between in the choir off, or waiting for one choir to take the stage, maybe have the jazz band play in between. So we're trying to work as many kids into this as possible. So this is not just a Middletown event, it's a student, initiative that they feel part of. So I'm so excited, and I really appreciate you partnering with me on this. And with your Learning Day in November, we are working with the library to have community trees, that we want to start making some community ornaments on those learning days, that we can have community trees scattered throughout the city so that students can go and find their tree and what they've done. And also, I think there's photojournalism as part of your Learning Day, and it would be great if kids could come out and do some social media or photojournalism about their experience at the Hoopla. So there's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, so lots of excitement, but you also see a lot of connections to the skill sets and the Passport to Tomorrow. That's a collaborator, networker, effective communicator, self-aware leader. Pick any badge, you can see the immediate connection. So excited about our students developing the sales pitch, delivering the sales pitch, and hopefully closing back with a business to get connected to the community event. But then also the idea of our students seeking seasonal employment. The idea of our students competing and giving back to their community and building awareness. A lot of positives, but then also the potential not just for incentives, but the idea of some experiences during our next personalized learning day. So we are thrilled to be an active and a full supporter with the Middletown Holiday Hoopla. Really thrilled about the staff that have been part of some of the thinking around how we can connect and bring some experiences together, and just looking forward to a celebratory community event. But opening it up to any questions the board may have for our guests who's here tonight.
Just to say thank you. I mean, it's very comprehensive. Like, you went through like everything that people could think about incorporating within that event, and it's very collaborative. It seems like the connection between the district, the businesses, our students, principals, et cetera, allows us to feel good about that we're not going to miss opportunities there. So thank you for the thoughtfulness that's gone
I
into
pretty
this.
much told everyone, if you can dream it, we can make it happen.
Yeah,
You know,
it
because
seems
I
like
feel
it.
like that's what this event's all about, you know?
Yeah.
It's about community, and it's a great opportunity that we have to bring this to town, and it's exciting. It's something
Yeah.
exciting in Middletown, you know, for the kids and everything, so this is great. Well, thank
Evan,
you.
what you have accomplished is amazing. I mean, I know your heart and soul of this, and you're the inspiration, and people are helping you, but you're the one who really, you really got a hold of this and took it to places that who could think. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kathy, I appreciate that. Yeah, who knew a dream at 2:30 in the morning would turn people told me now to take an Ambien and go back to bed, so maybe I'll have to take him up on that next time. But yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much for bringing this opportunity to the community. I know how much effort, how much work goes into something like this, and I'm sure you're working primarily with volunteers to make it happen. So I really appreciate all that you're doing. I wonder how you've considered the diversity of our community and the religious minorities that live here. I know during that period there's Diwali, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and El Dia de los Tres Reyes Magos.
You know, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that up. So at the parade, when we launch all the lights, before we light them up, Sharon Flagel is a member of our Jewish community, so we had a menorah, and then we had Kwanzaa candles, but we're happy to incorporate other religious faiths, because in my dream, another dream, I would love to have like international cookie or, you know, walk or something like this, so we're learning about other cultures and how they celebrate the holiday. So as the years go on, I would like to create more of an international kind of feel on what holidays look in different countries, for different nationalities, for different religious groups, because I do think that's important. And I remember learning about those from a book my mom would read us when we were young, and you know, we would try to make that cookie, and you know, it was fun. So I do think that's a very important part of this, and anyone who's willing to jump in and help me, I'm happy to listen, and we'll incorporate as much as we can, for sure. We'd love to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thank you too. I remember last year, you were just getting started, but I heard from kids that they went down and had a good time. So I'm sure they're looking forward to this again.
Yeah, we've
And-
got a lot of
Yeah.
Facebook from
Yeah.
parents, like, are you bringing it back? Please bring it
Yeah.
back. So we're bringing it back, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hi. No, I just had a great time last year. I just want to say it's great to see how comprehensive at this point and how involved you've gotten the district. So you did a fantastic job last year, and this year with our kids more involved, it's going to be a fantastic event. I'll definitely be there with my kids as well, so it's going to be
Well,
great.
Thank you so much. And I have a great team. I couldn't do it alone, so I appreciate for all my team. Sharon is one of many behind the scenes, so thank you, and I'll share your comments with them as well. So thank you for your time.
I'd like to add just the ice skating, how neat that is. I remember as a kid, we actually had a pond about 8 inches deep that freeze up, and we'd look forward to ice skating. How many kids, or even adults, that was their first time ever getting that opportunity last year to ice skate?
There were a
It's
lot.
not,
Yeah.
it's
It
not
was
very
exciting.
common nowadays
Yeah.
to see
Nothing
ice
on there.
skating.
And so what's crazy and what's really pulled at my heartstrings was when I started to say this idea, a lot of, Middletown natives would say, I remember when they used to flood Sunset Park and we would all skate there, and it's just this real core childhood memory for them, and it makes Middletown their home. It's like, and so that just fueled me, like, I want our kids now to have that. Remember that ice rink that was on there? Remember when we would go there with school at field? I mean, it's just that it makes you come back. It makes, if you go away for school or college, you want to bring your family to the place where you had these grassroots memories that make you feel a part of a community. And I think we've been missing that as a community, and for all of us. So I feel like that's what I want to do. I just want them to love this town as much as I do. I'm not from here, but I've just fell in love with the people. And Kathy was one of the first people I've ever met here, and who can't fall in love with Middletown after meeting Kathy. No, it's an honor to be able to do this for the community and work with such amazing people to get this done. So thank you so much.
And just one question for a friend. That timeline that's up there, that's to begin the Christmas celebration, and it's not the amount of time Marlon has left to buy a Christmas gift for his wife.
Right. When the ice rink opens, that's what that means,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got time.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. We have a second presentation connected to our Passport to Tomorrow. As you know, part of the board's outcomes in that strategic plan is that we have a desire within the next 5 years, we've already 1 year into this, that every student's connected to an advocate/mentor. So today I want to introduce Ms. Sonia Foltz, who's with an organization called Adopt a Class. We have developed a very strong partnership with the effort to focus on mentorship and career exploration. I'm really excited about her partnership and what she's going to share with you tonight. And you'll get a chance to really get a deeper feel of why we've latched onto this organization and why we're pushing the partnership so aggressively. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for welcoming me and for the support ever since we first met about this. So my name is Sonia Foltz, and I am the CEO for Adopt a Class, which is a local nonprofit organization that was founded 19 years ago by a local businessman in Cincinnati named Bill Burwinkle. He relocated his business to Lower Price Hill, got involved, and the school came knocking, of course, to say, how can you help? And it was Euler School down in Lower Price Hill, if you know it. He bought the old West End Bank building, so that's where he still is today. But 19 years ago, he said, I'll get involved, I'll write a check. And then he wrote a check. And then he knew that wasn't the right thing, so he said, what else can we do? And they said, why don't you tutor? We have a great tutoring program. And at the end of the year, the young man he was assigned to really wanted nothing to do with him. And Bill would tell you if he was standing here, it was a total failure, and I really disappointed that young man. And so did many of my other salesmen in my company who also did this with me, because we missed half our appointments. We couldn't get there. We're salesmen. Company calls, we go. And we apologize later. And at the end of the year, that was the message kids got. It wasn't what they set out to do. So they all went back to the drawing board and said, how can we build a model that really works for corporate to be engaged in our schools in a meaningful way? And today, that is Adopt a Class. We're going into our 20th year. Bill Burwinkle was actually just named Philanthropist of the Year in Greater Cincinnati. So what he did worked. What the model looks like today that you will see starting next month in Wildwood Elementary, that is our first school. I followed Superintendent Stiles' choice for schools. And what you will see is that every 3rd through 5th grade classroom is now matched with a corporate, nonprofit, or civic partner who has committed 5 to 8 colleagues from their staff, from their organization, to do 1 hour, once a month, career and life skills mentorship with that group of students from October through May. During that time, they use that hour to expose students to what their industry is, to the types of jobs and careers in that industry, to the pathway on how to get to those jobs and careers. We don't talk about one pathway. We say that a 4-year pathway is a great pathway, and a 2-year pathway is a great pathway, and a work out of high school pathway is a great way, and an apprenticeship or internship pathway is a great way, and military to workforce is a great way. So we want students to understand there's not one way to get anywhere. If each of you told your pathways, it was probably pretty curvy. That start at 22, right out of college and go straight through to retirement is not a pathway most of our students will know. They need off-ramps and on-ramps, and they need to understand that they all get you where you want to go if you have your vision. What we know about all of the schools we serve, and we serve currently 36 schools across Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, and now Middletown, in 8 school districts. We serve approximately 6,500 students with 2,700 mentors that are all related to our 150 corporate, civic, and nonprofit partners. So we're quite wide, from very large P&Gs to very small family businesses in local communities. P&G has 18 teams with us, so we span the spectrum. But what we know is that students' influences in many of our communities, especially communities that serve a high percentage of students who qualify for free and reduced lunch, all of our schools need to meet a minimum of 75% of students qualifying, or we don't take our program to the school. Middletown schools meet that. We know that circle of influence on careers is pretty small, and our goal is to really widen. So imagine if in 3rd grade you're matched with, let's just talk here now at Wildwood, 3rd grade teams or classrooms. We'll see Acres Packaging in one classroom. You'll see BGR, which is in Mason, that's committed to come up here in one classroom. You will see Cintas, which is going to talk about supply chain management, up here in 3rd grade. In 4th grade, they're going to be with Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Your office right here in the Austin Landing is going to come down. They're also going to be with Valley Central Bank, and they're going to be with Miller Valentine, learning about construction. In 5th grade, they're going to be with Cincinnati State. They're going to be with Miami and Middletown, and guess what? They're going to be with Hightowers Petroleum, which is how we got here in the first place, because Stephen Hightower asked us to bring this to Middletown, and connections started to happen. The goal is that each and every year you're exploring a new industry, careers in that industry, jobs in that industry, and pathways to get to that industry. So that by 8th grade, when you're headed to high school and people are talking to you about CCP, and they're talking to you about the Career Center, and they're talking to you about all of these options, you actually know what those jobs are. Because our students are so often asked to make job decisions and career decisions without any meaningful understanding of what those are. And then what happens? They get 3 years in and decide that's not for them. That's when that curvy path starts. So we want to just expose them just for a little bit of knowledge, because we are a nonprofit. We are reaching a lot of students. Our funding model, I just want to be very transparent. None of our schools pay anything for our program. We are in 36 schools. There is not a dime that comes from any district that we partnership with. All of our funding comes from private family foundation, private donor, and our corporate partners, who we ask to step up and help us. Also, nothing comes from our nonprofit partners or our civic partners. So we really want to reach students who otherwise wouldn't have this program, and that means we don't ask anything of our school district partners. We bring this program to you to make sure your students have this opportunity. So we're thrilled to be here. I've named your partners already that finishes out Wildwood. What's exciting to me, we thought we would finish Wildwood in 1 year. We're working on school number 2. We've already met with the leadership at Mayfield. We're working on our partnerships there. This is even an update for Superintendent Stiles, but we've already signed Worthington Industries. I've already met with Crane Consumables, and we're waiting for them to say absolutely yes. I have a meeting with Premier Health, with Packaging Corporation of America, with the city manager's office here in Middletown, and with Paycor. So those are probably who we're looking at coming on board, and we're going to get to the 10 that needs filled at Mayfield, and we're just going to keep going. I will also tell you what I'm really excited about is we're not just coming to Middletown and saying, give us your partnerships, although Superintendent Stiles has been unbelievably supportive of getting your already networked corporate partners involved. But BGR, already a partner of ours, already a funder of ours. Miller Valentine, already a partner, has a team in Cincinnati. They said, but wait, our offices are in Dayton. We'll do a Middletown. So they're already funders. Let's see, Cincinnati State's already a partner. Cintas has 7 teams with us. Said, we'll add an 8th. We have a lot of people who live north of here. We already have Paycor. Paycor is a founding member of the organization 19 years ago. So a lot of our current partners were excited to come out here because they know they have employees here who aren't getting engaged in Cincinnati, and this opened up doors for them. And I'll tell you, when you ask them, they'll say, Sure, I know we impact kids because you tell us we impact kids, but we really transform our culture in our workplace, and we raise awareness of issues related to our schools that are barriers to student success, and we want to be a part of changing those. So it's a win-win for a lot of different stakeholders, and we're just thrilled to be here. And I will share our 2021 annual report, but I'm a lifelong educator, spent 12 years teaching in K-12, and I know if I give this to you before I finish, you'll look at it instead of me. But I would encourage you to look at our list of partners, our business partners, that really tells you the comprehensive list. And this is a year ago. We actually ended in May with 190 classrooms served. We will kick off with 270 this fall, so we've seen unbelievable growth post-pandemic and companies really getting involved. I won't put any pressure on the police department that's sitting there, but the city of Cincinnati has 5 teams, including their SWAT team, which happens to be one of our most popular teams to get to your classroom. So no pressure over there.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sonia, for that presentation. Like you see why we're so excited about the partnership and how it really supports Passport to Tomorrow. Truly excited about it, but more importantly, just excited about how quickly we're starting to size different partnerships with different organizations to come in and provide mentorship to our children. It's been a joy being able to lean into the 31 Ready Now 100 endorsing agents and just send a quick email as a connection point and then see that turnaround happen almost immediately. You know, we've been talking with Rick Pierce at the Chamber about the endorsements are great, but the challenge is to truly and authentically engage them inside the schools with the kids. Again, one way that we've discovered that really makes sense, and you're seeing it really starting to happen at Mayfield almost instantly. We thought we'd have a month and a half to get 10 organizations on board for 10 different classrooms, and we're on track to hit that in a matter of a couple weeks. So really excited about the alignment. More importantly, I hope the field tonight is around the children and really connecting the children to seeing themselves in success. So again, open it to questions from the board or comments for our guest, Ms. Foltz from Adopt a Class.
Oh, first off, thank you. Gosh, man, fun night. Thank you both for coming. It's exciting to hear this. Just logistically, when you look at, like, it's 5 to 8 from each of those employers, and there's 10 classrooms going back. And so at any given, is it like every day different groups will be there? Is it one set day? Can you just like map out what it would look like?
Sure. So the ask is 1 hour once a month for the 5 to 8. They plan that with their individual teacher that they're assigned to for the year.
Okay.
So Acres Packaging is with the same teacher all year long, and they plan the time that works best for that teacher and for that company and the people who are coming from the company. And then what's really amazing is we don't provide a one-size-fits-all curriculum. One of my staff members are assigned to every single team by the school. So this is a launch program, so I'm assigned to all of these teams. So I just toured Acres last week, and Andrew Akers said, I don't know what we're going to do with kids. And I said, take me on a tour. Every one of my staff members have taught in a classroom. We walked that floor, and I said, I know what you're going to do. You're going to first start month 1. Where does paper come from? Kids won't know. And then we're going to make paper. And so it's not the lecture to, it's the get engaged with. I just met at lunch a marketing company. He said, what are we going to do? I said, you're going to pick a product that you're starting to market, and you're going to take it from day 1, brainstorm on what we're going to do with this product. And then month after month, you're going to build a marketing plan, and then they're going to be in charge of presenting out to 5 or 6 people from your company as execs to listen to their individual market plans. So they're not only getting the career, but we also talk about the life skills or transferable skills, or employability skills, those soft skills we all talk about. They're presenting, they're working in teams, they're listening and building product. So it's really engaging. It's all personalized to the classroom. So all of those decisions are made between the teacher and the team. Friday, we sent match letters to every teacher, matching them with their corporate partner and who the contact is. They're now already sending me mail that I'm on saying, can you do next Wednesday a call at 3? Let's talk about what our first month's going to look like. To the teachers, I make a commitment. The only thing I need from you is manage your class. Please manage your class. These are corporate people, and they are not used to 6-year-olds or 10-year-olds or 12-year-olds. And make your time available, and please respond to emails. Beyond that, the corporate team comes ready because we train them. So before they ever go in, we train them on the why of the program and the how of the program, and then the logistics. And then we're there. I go out to the visits, I give them feedback. We have a tracker system that after every visit, they fill out what soft skills they did, what industry skills, what pathway skills, and do they need support for their next lesson? Do they need support with communication with the teacher? And guess what? The teacher fills out the same. My staff monitors all of that so that we do the checks and balance to make sure every student's getting a great experience from the corporate side, from the teacher side.
And so each year, they would theoretically be in a different classroom, have a different business partner?
So the business partners stay year over year with their teacher
Okay,
so that the kids rotate
Kids
through
change.
industries.
okay. Makes sense.
That's our
Thank you.
And it works. We've done it 19
Yeah, I
years,
know.
so
Yeah,
it's
I
really
trust that it
exciting.
works.
You've been there the whole time.
No, let me just say that too. I started March 23rd of 2020. Isn't that a great time to start a job? Was not ideal, but no, that's so. But I'm a lifelong educator.
So pandemic plus 1 week.
Yes, honestly, truly, it was pretty unreal. But we retained 80% of our mentors, which said something to me, that they believe in the program, and we didn't have one teacher through all of the mess of going virtual say we don't want to do it. So it spoke to me that both stakeholders understood this is valuable.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming today and sharing your program with us. It sounds like it's going to be really beneficial for our kids, and they'll have very good exposure to different opportunities that they can have in the future. Typically, when I think of a mentorship program, I think of relationship building. So is there a relationship building component, or is that something that we might still be looking for?
So there are, I mean, they form very strong relationships throughout the year. The way we teach them to model their each visit, first 5 to 10 minutes icebreaker, every kid needs to get excited and get up, and then a 30-minute activity that's industry related, skill related, pathway related, and then the last 15 minutes, bring a snack. It's not because your kids are hungry, they're not. They get 2 meals a day. They are not hungry in your school buildings. But how do we all decide to get together and build relationship over food? They know the national model for group mentoring is a 1-to-4 ratio. So they are to keep that time, 40 of the 60 minutes, kids should be in 1-to-4 ratio. And that's where they're building that relationship, the mentor to the 4. But it is a group mentoring model, not a 1-to-1. That's how we're very different.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great attention to detail. I can tell that you were a good teacher.
Thank you.
I was going to bring up tonight about how if we are showing fidelity to our mode of teaching being a challenge-based learning, and what you described, getting the advertising campaign together, that's challenge-based learning, and it uses a multitude of skills. So I don't have to ask that question tonight. I know that I know it's moving along.
It's happening. It's happening. And, you know, the last thing I would mention, which is just the added benefit, if you take the volunteer hours our volunteers will put into your school, just one of your schools, and you put the federal rate per volunteer hour, it's a volunteer hour about $8,000 because it's $30 an hour that they estimate a volunteer hour being worth. So that's a huge value. Beyond that, we know, we never see this, but we ask them to put it in the mentor tracker in any monetary value they bring to your classroom. We know on average they donate about $600 per team to the classroom in books, in supplies they use, in snacks. They also take all of their students on a field trip back to their place of employment at the corporate partner cost, and they actually go and tour those different facilities, which is amazing. If you've never been inside Worthington Industries, it's pretty cool. So your kids will get to see that, and we know that they bring a value of about $600, which is another $5,400 per school that you're going to see infused into your school from these corporate partnerships. So thrilled to be able to do it. I would tell you all, when field trip season happens, come out and see one. They're so powerful. Ethicon, they're one of our partners. They have kids doing surgery on chickens in their high-end surgical facilities using their high-end surgical units, all dressed. These are 4th graders, and they all get a chicken breast. They literally cut the skin with one tool. Then they remove, quote, a tumor from it with a second, and then they suture the skin. Now, you tell me those kids don't walk out really fascinated by technology and medical technology and surgeons. Now that's what they say they want to be. It's fascinating. So, not all do that, but we have some pretty cool opportunities for kids.
When I think about this too, and I think about how expensive any kind of training after high school is, our kids need to come out equipped with some ideas of what they want to do, because it's simply not feasible just to wander around for 7 years and keep paying somebody else to educate you on who knows what. I think it's an amazing effort, and I
Well,
thank
We're really
you.
excited. We have 4-year partners and 2-year partners who are now getting kids on campuses. So Cincinnati State has committed to getting all of your students on campus, as have Miami Middletown, not as 10th graders or 11th graders. We want them on campus seeing themselves there in 6 and 8 years. Because then they're just going to keep going and keep seeing themselves. This is me. I could do this. That's what we
Yeah.
want for our kids.
Yeah.
It's that widening of network.
We can see why we're so excited. Lots of positive, again, the focus on our children. Sonia, really appreciate you being here tonight. Looking forward to the partnership.
Great, thank you. I put in my pitch, though, if anyone has a company that wants to, we still have spots at Mayfield.
Sounds like a familiar email.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for both of our community now partners for participating tonight. This is a fun meeting. This is a good one. Thank you. It brings us to our consent agenda. Oh,
Do we
did you have
wanna do
something?
SROs first? Okay.
Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments regarding tonight's consent agenda? None? Mr. Bertram?
Mrs. Schreiber?
Yes.
Ms. Novak?
Yes.
Mrs. Mulligan?
Yes.
Dr. Urso?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
So I'm going to take a moment and introduce some of our special guests here as Officer Kaito is on his way up to the microphone. I do want to, first of all, just thank the board for the support, really focusing on one of the top priorities of the year, starting the school year, and that's increasing the safety inside of our school buildings. I know school resource officers are a staple in our school district, and we've got the ability to increase the number this year, not just for safety reasons alone, but as the board knows, one of the contracts you just approved is for 3 full-time officers that will be with the school district a significant period of time throughout the school year. So tonight, so we have Officer Kaito a chance to introduce himself as the lead school resource officer, but then also the new team members that are here, and then want to just celebrate some of the new fun, student-centered ideas and initiatives that are near and dear to his heart. Just a quick background story. I didn't tell him I was going to say this. But Chief Burke reached out one day. He goes, "Hey, I want you to meet somebody. We got some questions about the new SRO role." So walking into the meeting, and I knew kind of who he was bringing to the table. The night before, I had to switch my thinking and realize that we were being interviewed. And it wasn't just a Q&A to share information, but I prepared for that interview like I would for anything. Because Officer Kaito was the lead person that we had our eye on for this role for a lot of different reasons. So I know we're thrilled to have the entire team with us. Really looking forward to watching all 6 shine together and really get close to our children, really have an inspiration and an impact with them. We've already experienced that present day with our current 3. But to be able to scale that and really double the size of our team, not just for safety reasons, but for our children, it truly is a blessing. I'm excited to have Officer Kaito here with us tonight as well as the rest of the team.
Thanks for having me. I got some shoes to fill with all that talk there. But my name's Marco Kaito. I am a graduate of Middletown High School. Born and raised here. My wife works in the school district. She's a liaison at Mayfield. When Chief Burke came to me, he said that there was some interest in growing this program and giving us more visibility in the school. My experience, I'm in my 15th year as a policeman, so not a super long time, but long enough to gain quite a bit of experience and exposure, and I still got a ways to go, along with all of those guys and girls over there. We all are bringing some experience to the table, but we have time to do. We're not planning on getting out of here anytime soon. So just a quick story about me. I was worked in the jail, worked my way up to patrol, became a K-9 handler for 7 years. Then I moved on to narcotics. That was my most recent post. So now this is quite a change of pace from what I'm used to doing. But what I did do in all of those units was kind of develop smaller groups of officers to work with. So a 6-man unit like this is awesome. It gives us a chance to to kind of grow with the school and develop some programs. And I think what pushed me to doing it is this year I started coaching Midway baseball. Baseball is kind of my thing outside of police work, so I got involved in it and saw some opportunity to just be a role model for mostly Middletown students that were there. So that's where we're at, and adding these gives me the opportunity to be more visible and the other officers to be more visible. 3 of them is, just 3 of us is a lot to handle this many schools. So, you guys want an introduction to everybody?
Yeah, please.
You guys want to come up here?
I thought I heard a ladies first.
Yeah.
Well, ladies first. You guys are probably familiar with Christine Sorrell. High school. Keith Maxwell, who was a training officer of mine when I started. Then you guys
We
have
can't
Kirby.
see you
Yeah,
back
you
there,
have to-
sorry.
I'll be at Rosa Parks.
Great.
Okay.
And Connor Kirby. He's at
Hi.
Highview.
A few months.
Jason Deaton. He'll be at the
Hi.
middle school. And then you guys all know Officer Alfrey. Officer Alfrey's
Yeah.
going to be at Amanda. So that's a quick introduction of who we are, and then
No pictures. Where's Liz to take pictures? Oh, there you are. There. You got a picture. You're Liz today.
I'm working on the photo, yeah.
Okay. All right, great.
Get my mug out of the way.
so we look forward to kind of growing this and this being the school unit and kind of build a program that even down the road other officers want to come join. Any questions?
No, I just want to again say thank you. I know my impression of the relationship between Middletown Police and our schools has been one that is a huge asset for us. I know Officer Alfrey, the smiling face, to walk into school, Officer Kirby, that rapport and that connection with our students, I think, helps within our buildings, outside our buildings, and to know that's going to be amplified with the adding of officers onto that unit, I think is going to serve us well. We're fortunate in Middletown to have excellent people to help keep us safe, and I know our families appreciate it. My 2 kids attend Middletown City Schools. I appreciate it, and so thank you.
I just wanted to say this is, it's kind of exciting to see all of you here tonight, and this is something that the board has talked about for a couple years. So now that we're actually voting and having you here, that's really great. And I'd love to hear, again, we've talked about a focus on children tonight, but in addition to this safety, that you are sharing that message about how you grow the program within the school. I think that's so important. So I see many of you in the community when I'm out, but it's really great that you're here. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. I've, as a person living in Middletown and working in Middletown in the schools, I've always felt like we're covered here. When I hear stories of places where these horrible things happen, I feel a bigger measure of comfort because I'm in Middletown. So please know that. I think we're lucky that we're in a town this size, that we have such devoted people who stay and work with all of us. So thank you.
Thank you. SRO doesn't stand for standing room only, does it?
I'm so excited about this program and just really the development of it. That this will give us the opportunity to be more proactive with our safety with kids and to have those relationships and mentorships. And I think that's really important. So I'm really excited about this partnership. So thanks for being here and thanks for working with us.
Thank you for picking us. I'm excited to get to know you a little bit deeper. More importantly, and Mr. Bertram's probably going to laugh at this, but I'm excited to get the pace together to figure out what our program scale will be and what that will look like, and more importantly, focus on what we can do to stay connected to kids. So thrilled that you're here. More importantly, I'm just thrilled you're part of the district. We'll have to get you some MIDI swag now and get you ready to rock and roll. So thank you very much, and thank the board for the support on this project, too. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm looking at this correctly. That brings us to Board of Education reports. Looks like I am. Mr. Moore, anything to report this evening?
I do. Yeah, I wanted to, well, tonight's theme has been focus on kids, I guess, tonight. So it's great to hear that. So many different things going on. And I know that it will translate to results here in Middletown. So we've got, so much going on right now within our classrooms, and it's good to see those partnerships and good to see the work that's being done. So just wanted to mention those items, and great to see the SROs taking the lead tonight as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Ms. Scheibert?
Yeah, he said everything that I was going to say. So I would just like to say that I remember when I was elected, 3 of us came on board at the same time. And I remember saying, I wish I had a little thing that said, we're here for the kids. And these things tonight show how hard and how much we've moved toward that, because we are here for the kids. The kids are the recipients of lots of good efforts. I am just so thrilled that all these things are happening for these children. What advantages they'll have. So thank you.
So you all should have received the Butler Tech Student Success Newsletter. And you'll see pictures of the Natural Science Center that's really coming together on the Monroe campus. It's starting to really look like a building. Throughout the construction and planning, our students at Butler Tech have been involved in that process. There was a Butler Tech Foundation fundraiser, Full Throttle, where the kids worked on a race car, and it was driven. Not by one of our kids. There's special insurance that you need in order to drive a race car.
Called life insurance.
And then there's a schedule on the back that you'll see. Butler Tech also participated in the Middletown Night Out. And our students were there, and so it was a great experience for them. Now, I did pass out some Butler Tech swag. They tend to give things often at meetings so that, it's part of their marketing. So make sure that you go out and you represent. And just so you all know, for no reason in particular, the Butler Tech Board is invited to the national conference this year in Las Vegas, which will be at the beginning of December. Just putting that out there. So.
Do they need a travel guide?
So tonight I also want to announce my resignation from the Middletown School Board, and I'll be effective on September 30th. It's been my pleasure and honor to be able to serve the Middletown community in this capacity over the last 7 years. There's so much that we all have to be proud of. I've seen this community come together on multiple occasions to support our children and Middletown's future. I'll have to breathe through this. We've come together to set the foundation of the schools through the strategic planning process. We've banded together to do what is best for our children throughout the pandemic. And we have advocated for our children in Columbus to ensure that they have the resources they need to overcome obstacles and dream of a better future. We've changed the culture of Middletown schools to one that values community voice. We've built a new middle school, high school, and expanded Rosa Parks Elementary School to optimize the learning environment and make our schools a place where current and future middies can feel safe and supported. We're now working with the city to plan and build a state-of-the-art community center to continue to expand those supports. In the last 7 years, we have built a new administrative team that has introduced innovation and creative practices into our curriculum and professional development, transforming the learning experience for our students. Their efforts have received national recognition. We have adopted staff supports to encourage advancement, development, and creativity, which has in turn improved teacher recruitment and retention efforts in an urban school environment when so many schools across the nation struggle to find qualified teachers. And our passport to tomorrow. This initiative is an unprecedented, innovative approach to education that supports the individualized building of life skills, beginning in kindergarten and to be embedded throughout the whole K-12 experience. I'm leaving this role to focus on my own development and to support my family. But this role has given me so much to be proud of and the confidence to tackle new challenges ahead. We've laid a foundation of accountability and transparency, empowering our community to take an active role in the success of our children. Midi Pride is more than a hashtag for me. I'm so proud to be a part of the Middletown community. Drink some water. My greatest joy in this role has been each year at graduation, watching our graduates walk across the stage with confidence and excitement for what lies ahead, and so proud of all they have been able to accomplish. I feel proud knowing I had some role in preparing them for their future. I know that I'm leaving the schools better than when I first arrived into this role. I know that I'm leaving it in good hands with all of you, with all of you, with all of you. I lost my place. Together, we've laid a strong foundation for the future of Middletown schools where every student will have the opportunity to find their personal success. There are many sacrifices and responsibilities that come with being a board member, which I know we all take very seriously. But the rewards of this role far outweigh those challenges. The potential impact we have on the lives of children and their families in this community are immeasurable. It's been my greatest honor to be able to work with each and every one of you, and I pray for your continued success for many years to come. That concludes my report.
So finale.
Well, I'll go ahead and say something. Ms. Mulligan, do you have anything to
Oh, I thought
report?
it was my turn.
It's your
I thought I'd
turn.
be called upon.
Oh, you're always, it's assumed.
Michelle, it's a coincidence that tonight's theme seems to be focus on the students, focus on the kids. And it's kind of a happy coincidence that you've been an advocate of that, a very vocal advocate for all kids, for diversity, for paying attention to what our priorities are, and we're going to miss you.
Thank you.
I remember, I think our sons were in third grade at Central Academy, and I was kicking around running for the Board of Education, and I was looking for somebody and people to kind of go into this that you knew possess certain skill sets, not assuming that I possess them myself, but you look for people who are critical thinkers, people who are smart, people who are passionate, people who have strong leadership and are good at asking the question that needs to be asked. And it was easy to determine that you fit those talents and traits, and you've displayed it over the 7 years that we've worked together. And so I appreciate you. I appreciate that you said yes, and it's not an easy thing, and I hope people realize that over the first 4 years, I mean, there were big things, big challenges that as a district that we had to confront. And we were fortunate to hire good leadership and to keep good leadership to help through that. I know the last 2 years have been interesting to lead through on many different fronts. And interesting, good, interesting, challenging. And you persevered through them all with us. And so, and like you said, our district's in a better place in part because of the work that you've done. So thank you. I know we all say thank you.
Thanks.
I do want to raise up, like Todd, the Hope Squad. I notice our partnership with Lakota Schools and our young folks and our staff seeing that they're rallying around the wellness of our young folks, huge importance. My daughter was so thrilled that she'll be involved in that too, and so I'm proud of our young people who are involved in that. Want to raise up our band, our musical department. Always enjoy listening to their work at the football games. I enjoy watching our football athletes, but I also enjoy the music department. And I know how much work they put into that. The adults, I see them just shuffling and running to different spots, and it's recognized. Want to thank seeing like the officer, the Middletown graduate coming back to Middletown or staying in Middletown. He's never really left. And then like other folks, like their baseball camps this weekend, and Coach Kearns, who was a prior coach here, Coach Norai, who's a prior coach here, they're still involved. They're still offering their time without any ask for reward. And they're good people. Like our presenter today, Middletown has good people. And these are some of the finest people. It makes you want to work for them and do everything you can. And on a selfish piece, my daughter's on the cross-country team, and they had a meet today. And so I have some results for the 8th grade and 7th grade. Key Edwards, who's our HR director, his son, KJ, came in 2nd place out of a whole herd of runners. Ran 12 minutes and 9 seconds, 2 miles. And so he's running 6-minute miles out there. And I run sometimes, and 6 minutes, good grief. I would have to be running downhill with the wind at my back and probably get on a scooter to do what KJ Edwards did. Dylan Palmer, again, another child of an employee, Miss Palmer, who works in our district. She has 2 sons on the cross-country team. Both of them just crushed it. Nathan, her son, was a personal record, came in 3rd of all 8th graders. Ran 11 minutes, 40 seconds, so he's under 6-minute miles. And Dylan at 12:12, so he's right on their heels. Aiden Shearer, that's another Midi alum, that family. 12:46 for Aiden. Braden Hamilton, 15:09, and Jacob Klatt, 16:09. As a team, they came in 4th overall. Austin Roberts, 12:43, a personal record for him. And Mike Clare, 16 minutes and 18 seconds. Only girl representing Middletown cross country right now. And so I was proud of her too. So I'll conclude with that.
Michelle, I know you have one more board meeting with us, so I will save my heartfelt comments for that meeting. But I felt your love for this district in the comments you made. I'll leave it at that for now. Today has been, it started out fantastic. And no, it's not my PT training this morning. That hurt as usual. We had our cabinet meeting and got a great update on the personalized learning day that we had. And of course, I'm involved in some of that stuff, but not in the details of it. And to hear the success of it coming from our admin team made me proud. Just proud to hear that, proud to hear what's going on with Adopt a Class, proud to hear what's going on with Hope Squad, Admiral students, Passport to Tomorrow. Marlon had this vision when you came in, and we got it going. Then we were delayed by 2 years, and now it's in full motion. And the staff's very motivated. That's exciting as well, and I see great things for our kids. And Marlon, I'm going to thank you because you've re-energized me just by the things that are going on and the excitement built in this district and what's happening for our students. Can't say enough. And I'm also very proud of Claire Bear
Thank you.
for being the only female and to go out there and do it. And she's doing great. So
She was cute
it's
after the
exciting
race.
and-
She said she was running for ice cream. And so that was her major motive. Midway through the race, she was like, I'm running for ice cream after this.
It's
So
the small things.
that was it.
And
She's in
of
herself.
course, we know KJ is boy, he's a star in the works as well as his sister. So exciting things coming from the Edwards family. So pass it back, Moon.
Thank you, Randy. Just a few quick things. This morning, we were able to have a special guest in our executive cabinet meeting, Miss Nikki. She is the cafeteria lead at Miller Ridge. Had a chance to work alongside her and her team here recently. She came in for about 35, 45 minutes. She just talked to us about leadership. We're able to pick her brain and hear what's most important from her as a leader from our Sodexo team about how she leads her team at Miller Ridge in the cafeteria. I know we learned a ton, a lot of questions from throughout the team about her leadership style, and she was impressive. And I don't know if Sodexo is watching right now, but I'd be happy to give her a recommendation, a very glowing recommendation for her leadership skill set. So thank you, Ms. Nikki. Second of all, I just want to share with our board, our staff, and our community that tomorrow morning, a few of our cabinet leaders and myself, I'll be facilitating the conversation. We're holding a student focus group at the high school with 40 Middletown High School students and talking to them about the 612 systemic vision for Passport to Tomorrow. We've got a variety of meetings scheduled to design some things. You know, we like to have fun and think through how to design, but we're going to start our whole process with 40 students at the high school. For about 90 minutes, we're going to pick their brains. We've got some crafted questions and just dig into some dialogue and just see where their creative juices take them and see what we can pull out of their creative brains and if we can use that to inspire. So early thank you to not just Ms. Cotter and the staff, but for the students who are participating. And then lastly, I'll just say this. It's exciting to not only invest in school safety, but more importantly, you know, the narrative around school resource officers inside school buildings. And tonight you had 6 individuals from the Middletown Police Department that are here for the kids. And you can feel their passion, just like Ms. Novak, their passion for wanting to not only get to know the children, but to be a mentor and a positive influence and build relationships with them. That is the ultimate goal of having any school resource officer inside the buildings, to have the kids confident in themselves, to make sure they have someone they can connect with and be a positive influence for them. We're just lucky to have 6 that are trained to help keep our buildings safe, but again, the focus on the children. So I appreciate the board really focusing, leaning in on the kids being successful and the focus on the children tonight. As you say, we are off and running. Ms. Novak, I have a lot to say. I'll definitely reach out to you individually just to share some heartfelt thank yous for what you've done, not just for me, but for our leadership team, our staff, our kids, our community. You're going to be missed. I'm excited to celebrate your service here coming up into September. Looking forward to that moment.
Thank you.
If I may, Dr. Urso?
Yes.
With the announcement from Ms. Novak, there is a short window to when the board will be required to replace Ms. Novak. We have prepared a press release that will go out either tonight or tomorrow morning on what that process is and what the requirements will be for any individual that's interested in filling that position through the end of Ms. Novak's term. And so this is a public announcement for our community to let them know that it will be out there, and it will be a short window, so they will have to hustle. We have between 10 and 30 days to fill that position by Ohio law.
Thank you.
And it'll be for a 1-year term.
Just over a year, yes.
If there's nothing else, is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
We're adjourned.